KCast Radio, your home for Kurre and Klapow in the mornings. Classic rock to the bone of the KCast Radio app. You can listen to us 24 hours a day. It's available worldwide. We're in 18 different countries last night. We have our ACDC show a little bit later on tonight, right around 8 o'clock. We have an IBM Champions Chat show we do on Thursday nights. This is Dr. Josh Klapow. I'm Tony Kurre. We've been doing our show about 4 or 5 years. And again, you can find us on the KCast Radio app, and occasionally we do the Facebook Live thing in the morning, so you can actually see some of our responses on our Facebook.
Before you get going on where we're going, can I just tell you I went back and listened to the interview with Damon Johnson, but I watched that little excerpt that he put out of the opening with Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah, it was just really weird because, I mean, I don't get goosebumps when Leonard Skinner opens a little video clip, but having the connection with Damon and listening to his... I had seen that clip, but listening to his story...
Yeah.
And then watching that,
no, pretty cool.
Oh my God! You need to go to our. Where are we? It's everywhere. That clip's everywhere.
It's on at KCast Radio Facebook page, Tone the Bone 37, KCast Radio on Twitter, Instagram. It's also available on the podcast on Audio Boom. So wherever you listen to your podcast, it should be up. You can listen. It's 35 minutes long, which normally we do like a 15-minute conversation.
Yeah, but
and we know each other really, really well. He's been on our show a million times, and it's just to get the inside of you. And like you said, I think you said it best. He's probably one of the most soulful, not rockers, but soulful individuals. Period.
Yeah, that's what
I got so many phone calls yesterday from people going, "Dude, that was one of the greatest interviews." And I'm like, I hear that every time he's on our show.
Yeah, because
after the Eddie Van Halen death back in October of last year. Some of the stories he shared was unbelievable. So, check it out wherever you listen to your podcast or check us out on social media. You'll love the interview. It's fantastic. Got a lot to get into today. How often do you bathe? You bathe every day?
Oh, bathe, like shower or bathe?
Shower,
yeah. Summertime, 2 to 3 times a day.
Famous. I'm the same way. I cannot handle being sticky. I hate being sticky. I didn't shower. I showered.
Yesterday was our bloat show. Today is our sticky.
I hate being sticky.
Yeah.
Like when I'm doing s'mores and I start getting.
I
gotta take a shower after eating s'mores.
That's it. That's a weird thing. That's weird,
man, if I'm like on my chair and my arm is sticking to the chair because I got
a phobia.
I know. It's
that's
just
a little OCD
I don't like
there.
being sticky, and so like last night when I take a shower before I go to bed, I sleep great.
Yes.
And it's because my body is moving off my sheets and it's something smooth. It's smooth. I feel really good. And but when I'm sitting there and I'm sticky and I'm kind of hot and clammy.
Yeah, well, okay.
And so I was really tired last night and I was like, I took a shower early this morning. I'll take one tomorrow morning. And I was sitting there and I was just sticky and it started. I just don't like I don't like when my crotch is sticky. I don't like when my legs are sticky. I don't like when my feet are sticky. I just don't like stickiness. I just don't like. Not to say that when I have honey poured all over my body at some point, but I would certainly bathe right afterwards.
Do you want me to address that?
No, I don't.
Okay,
no, I don't. I just don't. I don't like being. I don't mind being sticky when I know I'm going to be sticky. Right? Like I just ran 3 marathons. I know I'm.
Right, but then you're not going to go to bed.
But if I'm sticky, I'm going to wash it off. So anyway, this famous celebrity couple that doesn't bathe, and they're good looking. Pretty much no. She's like, I woke up with no hot water. I didn't have any hot water in my family, and so we just didn't bathe. And her boyfriend right now is like, if it's dirty, I clean it. He goes, I wash my armpits and my crotch every day, and that's it. He said, we'll go a couple weeks. And I'm going, and this is a famous celebrity couple.
John Mayer?
And their kids.
It's John Mayer, right?
They have a 4 and a 6-year-old kid.
It's John Mayer, right?
It's not John Mayer.
Oh, because he doesn't bathe.
Yeah, and women are crazy for him. And I'm thinking to myself, listen, I'm going to do what makes me feel comfortable.
Yeah,
I don't want to stink. There's a difference between not bathing and just working around the house and doing things, and then going out and cutting grass and doing those things.
Yeah, because there's yes.
But I know there's natural pheromones
yes.
that sometimes attract different individuals, and in this particular case, evidently attracts them both. We'll talk about that story. What actually happens to your body when you eat too much? Joey Chestnut came out last night.
Oh, wonderful.
And he was asked the question, what the hell happens to your body after you eat 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes? And he told us.
Really? I've always wanted. I watched the documentary. I don't think he ever said, it's never asked of him in the documentary, huh?
He will tell you exactly what he does. It's really fascinating.
I can't wait.
We will get into the Simone Biles thing here in just a second. And we were getting chippy already before, and I like to push buttons a little bit, but at the same time, I'm kind of like I'm hedging just a little bit because I'm not an athlete. I haven't played, and every athlete in the Olympics, Michael Phelps, you don't realize what we go through, and blah. And I hear all that.
That's not the part.
They're going to play.
That's not the part. That's not the part.
But
I'll be quiet.
Yeah, you be quiet because
Right
I know
here,
you're a
bring it in right
psychologist, and I know you went off at a couple people yesterday.
You know, right here.
And I had your back on it too. I mean, here's the difference. There's no right or wrong answer for me on this particular situation. Did she quit? Yeah.
It depends
Should
what
she
the
quit?
question
No.
is. Oh,
but
yeah.
Am I okay with her quitting? Yeah.
You're right.
But did I want her to quit? No. And I don't think she should have quit. Your competitor.
That's where I'm going to get you.
And I. Well,
that's what I'm going to get you.
That's where you think you're going to get me, but I speak for every man, and I'm just telling you. And you always like to compare the physical.
Right, do you think she should have? Yeah. Okay. Well,
yeah. All right, we'll talk about that coming up in just a few minutes.
Just go talk about sticky and stinky.
The first thing, though, I wanted to mention, KTNV, should I say, in Las Vegas last night reported the story. I thought it was funny. We're losing our shit a little bit, right? We
a little bit. Look at us. Dude.
Guy walks into the Cosmopolitan Casino last night.
Yeah,
I've never been there. Place is packed. Las Vegas is on fire again, at least for
this next couple
for
few days.
For a while, anyway. And threatens to kill everybody in the casino. And he's walking around saying, I'm killing everybody. I'm going to kill everybody. You know what he's going to kill him with?
Kindness.
Said he had a nuclear weapon.
Ooh, now that's some shit.
I mean, this.
Okay, well now we're taking it to the whole next. Like,
this isn't cyanide. This isn't. I got a pipe bomb on me. I have a nuclear weapon. They're like, you're going to prison. He's like, okay, I'm just letting you know. I'm going to kill everybody. I have a nuclear weapon. I don't know why he went to the Cosmopolitan, because he didn't say he was going to blow up Las Vegas. He just said, I'm killing everybody in the Cosmopolitan. I have a nuclear weapon.
Well, in the Cosmopolitan, in Vegas, potentially in Nevada. Yeah, like it's going to go a little broader.
Well, and in Nevada, they probably do have some nukes.
Yes. Oh, jeez.
Right.
Okay, that's kind of the end of the world, right?
I don't think
that's Armageddon.
I don't think this guy had a bad day at the tables. I don't think he was crapping out.
Do you see?
But if you're going to go big, go large.
Oh man, we're coming apart at the seams. God, like this it can't get any worse.
He's in prison.
Okay, do you want me to comment on that? I got nothing to say.
No, I just thought it was funny because I'm thinking to myself.
It is. You gotta laugh at this
because I'm hitting my 16, even if he says it in earshot. All right, so Matt Walsh, who writes for was it the Daily Wire?
Yes.
Wrote an article which is very, very interesting, and he mentioned.
And I just read it this morning after. Just so you know, all the stuff I done on social media, I had not read this article. So
he says it's one thing to say Simone Biles quit, but let's have some empathy. It's another to say Simone Biles quit. Isn't that so brave? He said, no, it's not brave. It may be human, it may be relatable, but it's the opposite of brave. To be brave is to refuse to quit precisely when most people would. That is why we admire people who persevere, because they're rare. Quitters are a dime a dozen. Cowardice is no short supply in our world, and it will become even more common now that we have rebranded as courage. Indeed, if we will grant to cowardice the rewards of courage without the effort and sacrifice, why buy with courage at all?
Let me just say this, because I think everybody knows, for those people who follow me, they kind of know my opinion, and I really liked that article in that it was provocative and it made me think, not just go off. Like most of the other stuff that I've read that's sort of along those lines, I was like, give me an effing break. This made me take pause and really look at this from a slightly different angle. Yep. And so there's definitely some pieces I don't agree, but I appreciate that article.
She is bowed out of the all-around, which will go off tomorrow. She still has 4 individual situations where she could win. And by the way, she did not qualify ever in an Olympics for 4 different things as an individual. Now she's doing that, and so obviously you think she's on top of her game, and we'll find out. I at this point I'd be really surprised.
I would too
if she competes at all, because I think she's all in, and I don't. If she does compete now, she's going to get hammered.
Yeah.
Because people are like, well, wait a minute, what changed from Tuesday to Thursday, and all of a sudden you're ready to compete again? I'll say this. I think these are really polarizing conversations and debates, because I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. I get both sides, and I know people always want you to choose a side. I certainly had your back because I've dealt with mental illness in my family. I see how debilitating it is. I certainly understand your analogies or your comparisons between saying a broken leg and a broken brain are one and the same. If you can't compete with a broken leg, how can you compete with a broken brain? She's already shown that she's done that. I guess what I want to see from a champion, from a person with courage, a person who's brave.
Yes.
She's competed at every level, and I don't know what more pressure she could possibly have.
That's true.
I would rather her compete and fail miserably than her quit halfway through the biggest moment of her life. She's already been to the mountaintop. She's already done these things, and she's also competed at the highest level, at least we think. The difference here for me is I'm a trustworthy kind of guy. I'm a compassionate guy, and I do have empathy for her because, first of all, we don't know exactly what's going on in her brain. She has come out and spoken, quite frankly, a lot about this particular situation, so she seems to be okay. But I see a lot of people that are mentally depressed. I lived with it, not me, but I lived with someone who was mentally depressed at the worst level possible. Yes. And I would see people come over to the house, and they're like, seems good to me. And I'm like, you have no idea.
Yes.
I've seen the doctor heckle and jive. I've seen it.
Yes.
So I get it. But I also, as a trustworthy individual, trust that Simone Biles is doing what she thinks is best for her, and I'm not going to question her on that. And that's why I'm kind of hedging towards, did she quit? No, I think she's doing what's best for her. It's unfortunate that her team suffered from it. They only got a silver medal.
Right.
And I hate that part of it.
Of course.
I really do. If it was purely individual,
right,
I'd say do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. But when you let your team down, I think it's, well, let's just say your quarterback.
They compared to Tom Brady.
Say Alabama is playing for a national championship against Clemson this year.
I have a great analogy. Go.
And your quarterback, your 7-figure quarterback with the NIL, is having some mental deficiencies and just says
in the middle.
Right before the game.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I can't play.
Well, no, but hang on. I'm just saying. Let's make this. Let's make this totally equal. Let's say he's played a few plays because she did.
And he's thrown a couple picks.
Right. So let's make it really equal. Okay. Yeah. So he's in there. He went in and he's looking not so great to start off with. Let's try to make it as parallel as can. And then he throws a couple picks. And then he also, he throws a couple picks and he's off. He's missing passes. So I think that's a fair. It's close.
And you can make an argument that Jalen Hurts kind of did that. In a national championship run a couple years ago, and then Tua Tagovailoa came in you had a guy that was behind him that was chomping at the bit. And I'm not saying we don't have this in gymnastics, but what I'm saying is if if Trevor Lawrence last year is playing in a national championship game and he's 2 of 7 with 2 picks to start the game and just goes to coach and says, I can't do this.
What would happen?
I can't do this right now.
What would happen? No. What would happen? Because I think this
you put it back up in and you'd lose the game.
Would you? But you'd have an option. Wouldn't you have an option? Or wouldn't you have? I'm sorry. If you're the coach, you would have a choice to make. I'm sorry. You would have an option. You do have a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
And actually,
you have a backup gymnast.
I'm blanking on her name. She was like the one that substituted for her. She qualified 9th. But yeah, I mean we've seen Nick Saban and other coaches make these, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he's putting them in. The starting quarterback should be able to tough it out, etc. But that is a good example. If Trevor Lawrence came in and said, I can't do this, this is the part where we're all speculating, but I'm going to use a little bit of clinical speculation. This is not everything's going fine. I'm having bad practices. I'm having bad reps. I can't do this. Again, Trevor Lawrence is a great example. Simone Biles, they're not coming in and going, I don't think I can do this. Like the threshold for quitting, and she did. She quit. She quit playing, or she quit competing. The threshold for that when you're at her level is so incredibly high, and that's the only piece. It's one of the pieces I don't like when people are saying, "Oh my God, she just should have stuck it out. What's she doing? You know, she's not having fun." And so, it's, come on, you don't get. I'm going to go short. Yeah. You don't get to her level and then just go, nah, this is not fun.
And that's why I trust her judgment.
Well, there's something. It's not just, I don't feel like it.
Yeah, something isn't right, and you know, the other thing is, and again, I don't. It happened so quickly.
Yes, you're right.
And it happened after she had a bad run. She had a bad showing, and it's weird because we're always looking for excuses. And,
yes,
and I see the pitcher who gives up 6 runs in the first inning, and he says that hangnail was really bothering me, and they're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
And it seems like they always get injured when someone's having a bad game.
Yes.
You know, and for some reason, and then there's always some weird injury there you have it. And so you could certainly make an argument that she has this weird brain injury. I am a little surprised that she's been as outspoken as she has been.
Yeah,
she seems like she's dealing it. The other thing, well, I'll talk about this later because her mom had something that I thought was really interesting that her mom said yesterday too. I have to trust that Simone Biles is doing the right thing. I hate the fact that her team, she let her team down. They were expecting her to compete at the highest level, and speaking for every guy, I would think since she's already won 4 gold medals and she's been there a million times and she's the greatest gymnast of our time, I would think that there would be no pressure.
Right.
Because
what
do you have to prove? She wasn't even supposed to be there.
See, and that's where
like Michael Phelps going back and getting in the pool. I mean, we're not now we were expecting her to do really well because she said, I want to do this.
Yes.
But I mean, she gave us this narrative, Josh, for like the last 2 years about how she felt like she still had more to give.
Yes.
She was having a blast. She said, I'm having a blast. I'm having a great time. This is fun.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, okay, she's been to the mountaintop. She's enjoying it.
Absolutely.
She's going to be easy. She's going to feel good about herself. She has no pressure. She's going to kill it. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, she's like.
So listen, and I'm speculating, and
only she knows how she.
Well,
feels.
and that's why to my friend and colleague who was on TV last night, Brett McCabe, who we both know, and I'm so glad he jumped in there on this. You know, one of the things that you have to be so careful about, and even as I'm speaking now, I'm thinking about what I want to say and what I don't want to say. We don't know what's going on, but there are some things that we do know that she has stated. So this is not speculation. Things that she has stated. And the thing that got to me is you have to separate, and you said this earlier, you've got to separate the public when she's doing her press conference, and I can see how a lot of people are like, she seemed not upbeat, but matter of fact. She didn't seem distraught.
Yep.
She didn't seem like Naomi Osaka, but Naomi Osaka tends to be more shy anyway, right? And so I think we were all kind of like, what are you doing? You're saying it's not fun? You're just like, whoa. I mean, I was doing the same thing. But she said a couple things. One, she said, I got out there and I was shaking. Simone Biles, to your point, and every one of us who's a fan, Simone Biles should not be in this situation shaking during warm-ups.
Yeah.
Like that's a major sign that something is not right. Okay, that's number one. Then if I'm putting the two together, I say number two, documented means she has said she was sexually abused, PTSD, in treatment, therapy, and medications. And that's just, and I know that stuff does not just like disappear. It can be incredibly well managed. You can be in a great thing, but much like an injury that pops up during warm-ups, something like this can pop up. And then I'll put the third piece together, which I don't know how to comment on this, but this is how I see it. Her sport is unique. It's not the only sport this way, but it is different than basketball, I would even say football, baseball. And every gymnast has said this. One mess up, it is such a razor's edge what they do. One mess up, and you could have a catastrophic injury, not just a sprained ankle, you could be paralyzed, etc. And what most of the gymnasts were commenting on is that mess up can come from a physical injury, but it also can come from just being off slightly focused.
Sure.
And that whole vault thing that she did, I would speculate that whatever was going on that flared up, combined with the losing herself in the air, was enough for her to say, I can't do this.
Yeah, and
I mean that's my opinion with just a little bit of my own clinical experience.
And again, I don't see how she can compete for the rest of the Olympics at this point.
Well, yeah,
as a fan, I'm like,
stop. If you're bad, stop. If you're I agree.
Don't. Give someone else a shot. They're probably not going to medal in it because she was. And again, we're talking one of the greatest gymnasts, if not the greatest gymnast we've ever seen. At the height of her career, she's got moves named after her, for God's sakes.
And I think that's why, I think that's why people are, I think that it's interesting because that theme motivates both sides of this discussion.
Yeah.
The people who are saying she's just a quitter and she's, cowardice, that's, but the people also who are saying exactly what I said, which is Simone Biles, at this level, you can't not have a level of dedication and competitiveness that just allows you to go, I mean, there's no way. And I said this to Jules. I wish, although I don't expect it of her, I wish you could have seen a little bit more outward distress, because we as the public don't get this mental health stuff.
Yeah.
We don't get it. We don't understand it. And I'm not talking about understanding clean. I got blown up on Twitter about that. I'm talking about we don't understand the expression of this stuff. You said it as someone who's lived with it. It can be a Jekyll and Hyde. Mm-hmm. You can. She could get up in a press conference and not be shaking. And I think the other thing, and you can probably comment on this, sometimes when individuals are suffering tremendously, part of the defense mechanism when they get up there is it's okay, even though I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And the part about calling her a hero from Matt Walsh's part, it's very interesting because that's the part to me that was most provocative, and I kind of agree with.
For some, she is a hero.
I'm drawn. I mean, I'm torn. I'm absolutely torn.
Let me just say this. When you're talking about the best gymnast or time, or Naomi, or Kevin Love, or any other famous athlete, and I say famous athlete, someone well-known, a brand name, has some types of mental anguish or mental incapacitation where they just can't perform, and I'm sure there's a list of members.
Underscore that.
Yeah.
Incapacitation and anguish. We're not talking about feeling stressed out.
Yeah, we're not talking suicidal. We're not talking.
No, but that's the worst side. But it's also not just I'm feeling. I got a little bit of butterflies. That's more than usual.
These are people who, for the most part, have spent their entire life with a gift, competing at the highest level.
Yes,
and I'm saying this: if it's a third string guy from Toledo Rockets football. Okay, good, but he hasn't gotten, and he's dealing with something else, and God love you and bless you. And
right, empathy, that's the empathy.
But when you're talking about someone at the highest level that is going through this and quitting or bowing out of the Olympics, I'm not going to question that. She wants to compete.
Right.
She wants to compete. Some people think, he just quit.
Right.
Just don't want to play. He's tired. Maybe he wants to take a break. He wants to go on vacation. What the hell are you talking about?
Thank you.
What the fuck are you talking about? This is what they've been doing their entire lives. If Tom Brady comes out in the second quarter of the Super Bowl and says, I can't do this, are you going to question Tom Brady for quitting on his teammates? For God's sakes, the guy's won 7 Super Bowls.
But they will. But this is what Matt Walsh is saying, right? But people would. That's the interesting thing. Let's just say.
And if he does compete and he throws 17 picks, and we find out that he was going through some mental anguish, then people are going to go, well, you should have said something. So the backup could have at least given us a chance to win the Super Bowl. I'm like, what the hell?
That's exactly.
But we're talking about athletes. We're talking about professionals. We're talking about people that work the jobs and they're great at what they do at the highest levels, and they want to compete. They want to win. They want to rock and roll the world.
Of course.
And they can't do it. And so they're bowing out. And sometimes it's on the biggest stage in the world. And so I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. Do I think it was done right? Do I wish it would happen a week before the Olympics start?
Of course.
Or what
I'll bet she did too.
And the thing is 70% Simone Biles is probably better than 100% some other people, and so maybe people thought they should have.
Well, and I think that's where the sport. Neither of us are gymnasts, obviously, but I think that's, to me, just from a logical standpoint, and maybe you can give me another sport. And I even thought about football. If you're not in a good place in football, do you risk catastrophic injury? Well, I guess you could say yes. I mean, you could.
No.
But on theirs, think of it as every play. Every play, she's risking catastrophic injury. Catastrophic, like, when she's flipping, doing 17,000 things, you don't fall down and just
we don't look at it that way because we don't think of gymnasts like that, but you're right. If she did one half turn too much, she's hitting her neck and she's
done.
Yeah.
Out.
So I get that. You know what she probably should have done?
Oh, no. Had her prostate checked?
Go on to Backyard Solutions and Backyard Adventures. She could have gotten from this swing because they got monkey bars there,
Did you really? We were up here.
She could have gone swinging.
You were up here and you just like...
They'd probably even sell her a Volt. They got trampolines there. They have monkey bars. They have playgrounds. They have basketball goals. They have a veranda where she could have had a nice cold drink with her friends afterwards. Backyard Solutions, which brings you Backyard Adventures and all the playgrounds they do right there of 119. Go to backyardalabama.com, backyardalabama.com. I love this because it's generational. Usually you get a play set. It's a cookie cutter thing. In 3 years, it's falling apart. The wood's falling off. It's not safe for the kids. It tips over, and one of your kids has their own issues. At Backyard Solutions, they do a wonderful job, and as generations so much, it'll add value to your home, and you can move it. And they sell to not only residential, but to playgrounds, to parks, and everything else. They do the metal ones as well. Those bad boys are lasting forever. They'll come out and do maintenance for you. Their installation is second to none. It's fantastic. They are a family-owned operation. Jeff and his family does a fantastic job. Go to backyardalabama.com, backyardalabama.com, and check it out. All right, so I was watching on 4th of July, Joey Chestnut eating 76 hot dogs. I realize these are special individuals. He's got no gag reflex. He's stiffing 2 hot dogs.
Oh, does he really? Like, was he born with no gag or did he do the toothbrush thing that we did?
No.
Whatever that was, which doesn't work.
He pinches his hand and does this before he... No, he doesn't. I mean, he's just stuffing him down his throat.
But that's what I mean. Was he born with no gag reflex or did he train to have
I think you can train not to have a gag reflex. I know porn stars can. Anywho.
Go ahead.
So he was asked the question. He finally answered the question, what does your body do after you eat 76 hot dogs?
That's so awesome because we all want to know.
And he said there's something that's really, really important that I do right after I eat that much. What do you think it is?
I lays down.
He takes a nap. He's like, I get back to the hotel immediately and take a nap. He said, just like you have a big Thanksgiving meal. He said, but it's times 100. He said, I have to nap. He said, I'm exhausted after I do that. He does have a cleansing process for 2 straight days before he eats. He wants to make sure he's totally empty. So all he drinks is water and lemon juice for 2 days before to make sure that he is like just empty. He's on it.
You're making me slightly nauseous. Okay, go ahead.
And then after he eats, he goes through a series of extreme sweats where his sweat is actually sticky and smells like hot dogs. His girlfriend says he smells like a giant wiener. He just smells like a giant hot dog, and he's actually sweating out the buns and the meat. It's kind of like when I drink. I tell you,
everyone does it.
When I drank milk,
yeah, you sweat milk.
Someone told me that they give me $100. It's a pair of concert tickets up at the radio station once if I could drink a gallon of milk in 20 minutes. And someone said that you have to digest milk. It's not like
it's not a liquid. You don't.
Yeah, you have to actually digest it. And they said it's impossible to do. And I said I know I can do it. The only reason I didn't want to do it was I was afraid I was going to throw up. And when you throw up on something, you usually don't ever want to drink it again.
Right, and you like milk.
Me some milk.
Okay.
It's like tequila. Once you have a bad situation with tequila, you don't ever want to drink it again.
Yeah.
But I did it, and I drank it, and I had to keep it down past the 10-minute point or 20-minute point or whatever it was. Ugh. But then I went to the bathroom and I peed milk. My pee was white.
Well, yeah, because there is a liquid piece of it. Well, guess what?
I go into the bathroom.
Is that all he said?
No.
Okay, because I want to know more. Because he's sweating. Here we are. He's sleeping.
He's sweating out. He's taking a nap.
Okay, but it's still in there.
And then there's a body purge. He said, much like anyone else, when you have a big meal, it's got to come out.
Right.
And it comes out, and he's got a very normal colon. He said, I go poop.
For days?
No, just regular poop. He said, I've got a regimen, and I poop, and it goes out, and I may go for a couple days. Now, he's not eating like that every day.
Right.
He's like every few months when he's doing something. But they were asking him questions. Do you like hot dogs when you're not competing? He goes, I love hot dogs. He said, just like anyone else competes in gymnastics or football or anything else.
Yeah. It's like shooting baskets.
I love to eat. He loves cream cheese on his hot dogs, and he also loves ketchup. He said, I like to just, when I eat a hot dog just like you do. I don't stick the whole thing down my throat and go, give me another one. He goes, when I'm eating hot dogs, I usually have 2 or 3, and I'm full. I'm good. And I put cream cheese and celery sticks, and I like Chicago
That's
style
very
dogs.
Anticlimactic.
I wanted to hear
something.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was waiting for just this to come out, like this basket this big, and it just comes flying out because there's a lot of food in there.
But you can't. But what happens to the rest of it? Does it just get
I guess
slowly digest? I guess his stomach.
Much like we have a really big meal for Thanksgiving, like if you overeat, you usually go like a couple hours later, and then for the next few days. You usually don't eat as much because you're bloated.
Okay, so maybe the volume is increased over the next couple of days.
I get bloated, and I feel like anyone else. Yeah, it's difficult.
The thing about him that is always the thing about him is just bizarre. Although I love the documentary. The documentary on him was amazing with the way he trains, etc. He always looks when he's competing like he's about to puke. More so than the other. I mean, he is the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
But he looks like it's about to all come up.
Yeah.
Even though it's clearly not. Like if you look at other competitors, even other competitors don't look as I'm making myself sick.
No.
I don't even talk about making myself sick.
How many hot dogs do you think you could eat in say 10 minutes?
Well, I have a gag reflex. So
okay, but I'm
just eat normally, fast.
4.
Yeah. And I wouldn't feel really well. I wouldn't feel good.
No, because you're not used to it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that I eat a lot of that I get. I can eat a lot of, well, it's now almond butter. I can eat a lot of peanut butter.
Yeah. He does say it's hard on his body.
What did he say?
It's hard on my body.
Internally.
I feel it, yeah. I mean, it's not normal.
Right.
That many calories.
Well, he trains. Have you seen the training?
Yeah.
He does this kind of weird shit. He trains.
But again, he doesn't eat like that every single day, and that's why he weighs 165 pounds, and he can pull it off. But it's kind of weird.
That's sort of depressing. I wanted to hear more.
Talk about one of our great sponsors here, and then I'm going to talk about 2 famous celebs who are together who don't bathe.
Okay. Speaking of internal functioning. It all stinks. Speaking of internal functioning, let's talk about your prostate, gentlemen. Prostate cancer is very common. And the sad thing about prostate cancer is it takes out a lot of men when it doesn't need to. 1 out of 9 guys are going to develop it. But it takes out a lot of men because they won't stay on top of their prostate health. And prostate health is really a combination of 2 things, guys. It is living a healthy lifestyle. That's number 1. But number 2, checking your prostate and PSA levels, because if you develop prostate cancer, you may not know you have it. And that's why our sponsor, Vituro Health, they are the best. They are out there working every day to develop new treatments for prostate cancer that are what are called minimally invasive techniques. We've had Cleet Walker on a million times talking about this. It's not always radical surgery that you have to have. And what happens is with the more sophisticated treatments, you may not have the negative sexual side effects, you may not have that ED, the incontinence issues, and that's where Vituro Health is there working to develop those treatments and to help men understand about prostate health and men's health. Go to the webpage today, VituroHealth.com.
By the way, you know what Joey Chestnut's net worth is?
$1 million?
$1.5 million.
I mean, I don't...
Pays pretty well.
Does he have endorsements?
I don't think. Well, yeah, he has a lot of endorsements. I don't know if he gets. He doesn't get paid. What was it? Takuro Kobayashi. He used to be.
Ooh, that was good. Say that again.
Takuro Kobayashi.
Yeah, he used
to be the man.
Yeah.
Until Joey came along, and then he wanted to get paid $100,000 to show up at the Nathans.
Right. I don't pay people. It was like they wanted to do it like a boxing.
Yeah.
Match.
It's like, nah, I'm not doing it. And boy, he kind of fell away when I hear from Takuro Kobayashi.
Is he dead?
No, he's still alive. But I don't think he does no more competitive eating.
He quit.
Joey's
he
worth
quit.
$1.5 million.
He quit, Tony.
Yeah, and he probably never pays for a meal.
He quit. He should have stayed in.
I was watching this story. Dax Shepard, who I think is pretty funny guy.
He's an interesting.
He's on.
Do we know him?
Yeah, he's on the new Top Gear, and he is married to Kristen. What's her face?
No, you know how we know him?
Yeah,
he's a good friend of Mountain Hunters.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, there's a local connection. I don't think he's from Alabama, but there's a local connection.
He has a podcast, and somehow they started talking about bathing, and he had on Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis yesterday.
Ashton looks like a guy who would go that route. He looks
He's
like
a good-looking guy.
No, he is a no. I'm not saying that.
He's gotten hot women.
Yeah,
he took over for 2.5 men.
He looks like a guy who could kind of go either way.
I don't know. He's pretty clean cut. When
he can be.
2.5 men, yeah, when you look at he can be.
He's not squeaky clean looking.
No,
he doesn't look dirty.
He's had a good life, man.
He's a guy. He lives in his lane.
He does, and he owns it.
That's exactly.
And Mila Kunis, and he's got 2 kids. He's got a 6-year-old, Wyatt, and Dimitri, who's 4. And Mila Kunis is famous in her own right, is a beautiful woman. And he was talking about being cleansed or cleaning or something, and basically said, "Listen, if it's not dirty, I don't clean it." And he was like, "What about your body?" He's like, "I clean my crotch and my armpits every day, and that's it. Unless I get a big smudge of dirt on my forehead, or I'm in a mud bath, I don't clean." And he's like, "Really?" And he goes, "How often do you shower?" He goes, I don't know, once a week, whatever." And I'm going, okay. And then Mila Kunis said, "Yeah, growing up, we didn't have hot water, and so we never bathed." And she said, "I don't think I ever bathed as a baby." She goes, having children, she goes, "I just don't bathe babies. I think they should bask in their own natural juiciness." Ugh. And so a lot of people are like, that's absolutely disgusting. Now you have 2 people that don't clean a lot. And I know there are some people.
There's cultural differences.
I used to work up at the radio station, and 107.7 The X was up there, and they used to have bands that came up there. I don't know what it is about these grunge bands. Maybe that's where the word grunge came from.
Yeah.
You could smell them out in the parking lot.
Yep.
But for some reason, the women would go crazy. John Mayer, another one of those guys, where it's commonplace that he doesn't have the most wonderful smell. We are acclimated to smelling lavender and coconut,
right,
and oil,
or neutral, or nothing.
But yet he has been with some of the most beautiful women in the world. I'm going, okay, there's a connection here, right? There's a pheromone type of thing. There's a weird kind of connection.
I don't know.
And so I'm thinking to myself, as a single guy, if you're single out there,
would
you be willing not to shower for 4 or 5 days if you knew it was going to attract really hot?
Every guy would say.
I don't know if I could.
Oh, you could. Julie Andrews stands in front of you and goes, "Look, give me a week of no showering."
I'd do it for Julie Andrews, but then the minute I got her, I'd start showering again.
Well, because you'd feel uncomfortable about yourself.
Because you got to stink pretty bad to smell yourself. I was cutting grass the other day, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Because you don't smell your own farts, and you don't smell your own body.
Yeah, but you're like, whoa.
You don't smell your own bad breath. But man, I was like, whoa, I really stink.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely going to take a shower. Even my kids were like, "Dad, you stink really bad." But thanks. But it's interesting because, again, why is he only cleaning his crotch and his armpit area if he doesn't want to be clean? Why are you cleaning those areas?
Because they're
what are the 7 areas you clean your face? And he said he'll go 2 weeks without washing his face. He said sometimes I'll just throw some water on just to wake myself up, and it's just to get the oil off my face. He said, but I don't do it to clean my face.
I mean, areas where bacteria can grow, you're gonna clean.
Yeah, I'm cleaning my crotch and my backside, my ass.
He doesn't clean his butt.
No, I just said his crotch and his armpits. That's it.
Okay, wait a minute. He goes to the bathroom and he doesn't clean his butt?
Well, I mean, he uses white paper, toilet paper.
Okay, but he doesn't. Right.
He does the Sherman Bear thing, probably.
So listen, I told you about this weird experience I had. I mean, I've told you this story before, but I had this weird experience where I went up to Canada as part of this trekking, cleansing.
Yeah.
Okay, and they told us, and I didn't believe it, but they told us the first day, they said, look, you're going to be on a special diet. It's going to be monitored. It's all organic. We're monitoring exactly how much food's going in, hydration, all of it. And it was all designed, obviously, to keep you healthy. It wasn't a diet, right?
Yeah.
And they'd have us drink, like in the mornings, we'd be drinking these little things of ginger to start the day. Just some weird, you know me, I'm pretty healthy, some weird shit. And what he told us is, he said, once you've done this for a couple days, we were there for 10 days, you will notice that you don't need deodorant. You will notice that you don't have the same body odor that you usually have. And I'm like,
because of what you're eating?
Well, come on, dude. We're hiking 9 miles and it's hot. I'm going to wear deodorant. He's like, no, try it. And about 2 days in, I mean, I was still showering, but we come back from a hike, and I'm like, I don't stink.
Yeah.
And then I went to use a bowel movement, same thing. It just emptied.
Yeah.
There was nothing. It was neutral. Now, I don't think that it smelled pretty, right? But it was just like my body was functioning in a way that it was not giving off foul odors that it normally gives off. And it had everything to do with essentially what I was eating and maybe some of the exercise. So, like,
Italian food does that a lot. You ever notice that? The
no,
garlic,
you stink.
I know,
I can't eat garlic.
Even if you don't eat garlic.
I cannot eat it.
It permeates through your skin. It's amazing how and much like Joey Chestnut, he smells like a hot dog when you eat a lot of
See,
anything.
but that stinks.
Yeah.
Like if
hot dogs smell pretty good.
No, but like if
If I had a girl that smelled like a hot dog. No, a good hot dog smells pretty good.
Yeah,
a good hot dog?
A good hot dog smells good because you're going to eat it. Not
if I could just take a hot dog and just roll it all over a woman, I think I'd be
really
maybe put a little behind her ears. Yeah.
No, that's gross.
Slaw a dog behind the ears.
Oh, dude, that's disgusting.
I do that.
You're gonna have a hell of a time when you start dating.
I can think of one time.
Oh no!
Before I got married,
you have a look, by the way, on your face when you're about to tell a Tony Curry story.
Really
Here we
careful.
go. Here we go.
I'm thinking really careful what I say. There was one time where I was hiking with my brother for like 2 or 3 days, and he was a deer hunter. He was hunting deer. I was just in the woods. And if you're a deer hunter, you don't bathe because they can smell you. Yeah. You don't bathe for like a week before if you really want to go out. But it was like 2 or 3 days. And he's like, "Can you do it?" I was like, "Shit, it's fine." We were out in the woods, and, sticker bushes and mosquitoes and all this other crap. And then I had to go do a remote here in town at a place called Suds Lounge, which was up off of Valley Avenue. And I didn't have time to go home and shower, and I drove straight down from Cincinnati and came straight here. And I thought, I was nasty.
Yeah,
I was nasty. Okay, I was like, and I went straight to the bathroom when I got to the place and got a paper towel and just tried it, and my hair was greasy.
Yeah,
it was nasty.
You were sticky.
I was sticky, and I was wearing the same clothes.
Oh,
and I picked up the hottest woman in the bar. I was trying
Did
to
you
stay.
try?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to stay away from everybody. I was getting on the microphone, doing my thing, and then kind of going off to the side of the bar. And I was trying to stay away because I felt incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah, of course.
Because I was like, I knew I stunk.
You could have rubbed lemons all over yourself.
And I felt, I was like, I'm just going to get in this 2 hours and do my remote, make my call-ins, and I'm going to get the hell out of here and go home and take a shower and go to bed. And there was one particular woman who was like way out of my league that would not leave me alone. And I swear it was because I didn't shower. She was sniffing me. Like she was like primitive, kind of like she did everything but smell my like dogs. Like she was like, and I was kind of like, and I didn't know who she was. I'm kind of like going,
don't you realize I stink?
Yeah, and I was kind of like, and so normally I would have been all over,
right?
You know, hey, how you doing? But I was kind of like trying to, and out of control. I mean, it was smoking hot. And so I was like, hey, listen, I just got back in town. I'd really like to run home, take a shower, and I'll meet you over your place. And I just met her at the place. This is what I used to do. I'm different now. And so I ran home, left skid marks in the parking lot. Ran home, took a shower, real quick shower, get over to her place, nothing. She had nothing to do with me. Maybe she sobered up.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it had anything to do with it because she was still drinking, and I got over there and I was ready to go.
So what was her?
It was just a total.
That's weird.
Confusing. What happened? And she's like, I just changed my mind, and I have to think it was because I cleansed myself.
Maybe. But that's a risky.
I mean, it took me like 5 minutes to take a shower and shoot over there, so it wasn't like hours.
But
I remember that every single time I think about a stink. Because maybe there's a natural pheromone thing.
That's a risky dating move.
Like I wouldn't really risky.
I wouldn't be doing it as like sort of standard operate. I'm going to go on a date on Saturday, so I'm going to stop bathing on Wednesday.
But why? We always think that rock and rollers stink. Like Damon Johnson smells really good.
Oh, I can.
He is clean.
Yeah,
dude.
he's very clean.
He smells good as a rock and roller.
Yeah,
right? and he does pretty well for himself too. Or he did. But I'm thinking to myself, is there something to the natural pheromones, the natural juices coming out of an individual, and does it work for guys with girls?
So I've had.
Have you ever been with a girl that smelled kind of weird? Because I think sometimes
musky.
Women like to mask things for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, no, I've been.
Guys hate that. We don't like you make. No, I've had someone who smelled like, okay, something's going on here.
Musky, a natural musk, but it was right on the verge. This was somebody I was dating. It was right on the verge of any more musk, and I would have been turned off. So, like, it was interesting, right? It drew me in because I was like, yeah. But it was, dude, it was right. Like, just a tiny bit more, and I would have been out. Now, I've also had...
If it makes your eyes water, that's...
Right. I've also had...
There's nothing really you can say.
Women, before I was married.
Yes, before you were married, of course. Preface before you were
married. Yeah, who said, I'd be outside, whatever, in the grass. Not rolling in the grass, but outside. It's just outside, by myself.
Yeah.
And I'd come back in. They say you smell like the outside, and that was a turn on for them. Yeah. Like not sweating. I just whatever was out there on the outside. I do have this. I've always wondered about this. I should ask Damon this, and this is maybe this is my weird little Jewish thing. Mm-hmm. I always wonder because we talk a lot, and I'm constantly hydrating and taking mints because I like my breath to be super clean.
Yeah, me too.
But after a while, if you talk a lot, your breath it's like sweaty or whatever.
Yeah, voice breath.
Voice breath, yes.
Yeah.
So I've always wondered when you see rockers or musicians and they're doing a duet.
Yeah.
All right, or there's a group of them singing in harmony, and I've never. My son sings an a cappella group. I never have asked this. What do you do if you're singing and the person sharing your mics, their breath stinks?
I have a bad breath phobia.
Yes. Phobia or just you don't like?
No, I'm pretty.
About your own?
Yeah.
Yes,
about
me
my
too.
Own.
Look, here you go.
It makes me really uncomfortable.
Look. I got I got my Altoids everywhere.
Give me one. I take
here you go.
Yeah.
They're delicious. They're
my
fresh
mom at one point in church. I remember in church, she's like, "Did you eat today?" And I'm like, no. And she goes, your breath smells bad.
Yeah.
And I never forget that. And my daughter's like, on a couple occasions, like, Dad, your breath smells like Fritos. I'm like, okay.
Well, Fritos isn't bad.
Fritos ain't good. Fritos ain't good if it ain't Fritos. If it's Fritos, it's okay. But if your breath smells like Fritos.
Fritos from not because you ate Fritos. So my wife, coffee can give you.
Coffee, breath's bad.
Right.
Dip breath's bad. If you're on any type of Claritin or anything that dries you out.
Yes.
It can make your breath bad because it dries you out.
We are the cleanest breath show in the country.
We think we are. So there was this woman named Rhonda Baker, who was the first woman that I was ever with at the age of 22. Yeah, and I can remember, and it hit me the other day. It was a psychological moment where I was like, that's why I am who I am. It was one of those things where you would bring it out of me.
Yes.
And you're like,
but you brought it out yourself.
And I was like,
you don't need me anymore.
Dude, I used to have scope.
Yeah.
In my car.
Yep.
Like the first day I drove at 16, I had a bottle of scope. And my dad was like, why do you have a bottle of scope? And I was like,
clean breath.
He's like, you always have clean breath. Why do you need a bottle of scope? And it wasn't just for dates. I would take a slug of that. I would drink it. And I did it. I've been doing it since I was 16. Now I don't have any scope in the car right now because I was married. I don't care anymore. Whatever.
Well, we have mints.
But she used to tell me, you know what I love about you? I was
clean
like,
breath.
She goes, every time you come in, that first kiss is always so fresh. I love
it.
And I was thinking about that, and so I'm thinking about bringing the scope back. Yeah, I don't like that because I have my dad's intestinal fortitude, burping and
Well, plus you talk a lot. I mean, you talk a lot.
These mints are really good, by the way.
Altoids. They're curiously strong, by the way.
Yeah. Does it wig you out when someone offers you a piece of gum?
Wig me out? Well, pre-COVID it didn't.
Yeah, but if they take you want some? Do you think they're telling you have bad breath?
Oh, no, that's your own issue. Mine is, well... Okay, so
do I need a piece of
gum? Okay, so there's
No, you don't need it. I just asked if you want a piece. Like,
so if they're not... If they're taking it out and they're not taking one themselves, then I'm doing the.
Ooh, that cleans my sinuses too.
Isn't that good? You should try the cinnamon.
It's gonna make me sneeze in the morning. It's gonna make me sneeze.
No, you can. You should know this. It's a trip. You push your tongue up against the roof of your palate. keep you from sneezing.
Oh, I thought that was to keep my reflex.
No, it also keeps from brain freeze.
Oh,
what are we doing?
So
We do this.
like
you
mine.
see, you know what the greatest thing about our show is?
See, I also think because I have a big nose, I should have clean breath, just because I have a lot more air being generated through my face.
No, but you also have more toxins going in.
Thanks.
Like nasty shit.
But I had turbinate reduction, so my filter was taken
You had
out.
what reduction?
Turbinate reduction.
What's that?
It's the
yeah.
sinus filter.
Why did you
The
have
stuff? Because I was getting nosebleeds and
you had too much.
that may have something to do with something
Jeez,
else.
you had all kinds of stuff. Maybe you shouldn't be sharing this because now you're out on the dating scene. We already now know about your bloat.
You know what? I am back on the dating scene. I'm not back on the dating scene, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. No, you're thinking about it.
No, I'm that guy. I am not going to chase the dog. I'm going to sit there in the park. And
You're
if
the
something
Tom
jumps on my
Hanks,
lap-
dude. You're Tom
I'm
Hanks.
taking my time. I'm married to my kids. I am not in the dating scene yet.
No.
I'm not going to let you know when I'm in the dating scene. I don't want to be in the dating scene. I'm
No.
good. I'm good. I have Pornhub. No, I'm just going to let it happen. And it's not that I don't want to, but I'll be honest with you, I don't care. I really do.
I think you're going through menopause.
I am going to be a blast to go on a date with because I don't really care if we have a good time or not. I am not nervous. I don't care. I don't. I'm looking forward to it just because I think it's not that I'm cocky or overconfident. I'm not.
No,
I am who I am, and I'm.
But
happy
you're not
with
that
who
you
I
don't.
am, and I really don't
it's
care.
not that you don't care in a.
I'll be a blast.
This is interesting. This is interesting. There's a Simone Biles connection here.
Uh-oh.
So you're not saying I don't really care. I'm not into this experience. What you're saying is I know myself. I'm not.
I'm authentic with myself. And
Yeah.
I'm good. And if you don't like it, then I'm okay
Well,
with it. I'm
Simone
not,
Biles.
Yeah, this is not. I'm not 16 anymore.
Simone Biles.
Yeah.
And that's. I'm just gonna circle back one more time. I just want to say this. The courage part. And I understand the Matt Walsh thing, but the courage part, and I think this does take courage. It takes courage to say, I am not in a place where I can do what I need to do. That takes courage. That's not just
It takes
quitting.
courage to say it, but is it courageous to be that way?
Well, if it takes courage, isn't that courageous?
No.
What?
Their words could be courageous. The act of doing it could be courageous, but is it courageous that you're actually doing it? You're admitting something.
Yeah.
Which is courageous because she
Well,
knew
it's
she
courageous-
knew she was going to get hammered.
Yeah, so it's courageous in you're right. Leaving and not continuing. And I'll say Matt Walsh, you are quitting. Like I think the problem with the word quit, and this is where I got sucked in, and I texted you before I got
Quitting
sucked
gets
in.
a bad rap, yeah.
Yeah, because quitting.
Because we don't quit.
Well, but we do. So listen.
But we usually quit when we're not good at something. We don't quit when we're great at something. Because you're great at something, you spend a lot of time on it. You're gifted.
So is
and you're good at it.
LeBron James a quitter? They've sort of cut because when he gets injured,
No, he's injured.
he's got a groin strain.
Yeah.
He quits. Is Kobe Bryant more courageous because he?
But he also plays banged up.
Yeah, so Simone Biles.
You know,
That was good. Listen, that's good. So let's do the mental health piece of that. Banged up.
Yeah.
Simone Biles has said,
I know where you're going here, but
that's banged up.
Well, you asked me the question before the show, if you have a broken leg and you don't compete, is that fair? She doesn't have a broken leg.
She's got a broken...
There are people... Dude that was in the gymnast just had Achilles heel.
Yep.
Like 6 weeks ago. He should be out for the year. The fact that he's either in the Olympics and he's competing.
Yep.
So when you are banged up physically,
you
can tough it through.
But she's been banged
Tom Brady
up.
got a torn ACL all year and played through.
But we know that there are certain levels, and we know that it varies, right? So let's. Oh man, I can go parallel on this so easily. This is so easy. This I'm having a field day with this. You have a compound fracture.
Mm-hmm.
You're not competing, right? You're not. I can get back in there, Paul George. Right? Okay.
You can't.
You have a complete panic attack in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Complete Kevin Love.
Yeah.
You can't. Anybody who's ever gone through a panic attack, you are incapacitated.
I'm with that.
Okay. So to me, that's a compound fracture, with the exception of the compound fracture itself lasts longer. Mm-hmm. The panic attack will subside, but the anxiety associated with the panic attack is the banged up part. So Simone Biles,
I understand that,
and that's all.
The only thing is we don't know what Simone Biles is going through.
No, because we can't see it. So yeah. and that's the difference. We can't see it, and that's
Did she have a panic attack? Did she have the yips?
I don't know. Listen, the only thing that I've said, the only thing that she gave me as a clinician that she threw out there was, I came out for practice. I knew I wasn't feeling, myself. I wasn't feeling good. I was off my game. Came out for practice and I was shaking.
Yeah, and there's got to be a reason for that.
Well, yes.
She may not know the reason.
No, right.
Did she miss her medication? Did she not go through a regular routine? Was talking about the Tony and Asser situation for the last week and a half.
Well,
did that bring back some PTSD?
Well, and that's exactly.
I don't know what it is. Maybe she doesn't even know what it is.
Right, but that's the piece where I wish we would back off.
And I think we are. I think that I know you read both sides.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to fault people for saying she's a quitter and she should have competed. I'm not, because I understand that. So, well, they haven't been as close to it as a lot of people. They're not as clinical psychologists.
Well, but that's what I'm saying is, please, you cannot see what's going on in her mind.
Yeah.
And that's what.
But I will tell you this: is Simone Biles isn't doing this as a joke, and she's not doing it. You know what? I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed, and I'm exhausted. And I'm going to quit. She's doing it because it's obviously, and I have to trust her on that because she's the best, the best.
And she made a statement,
and that's where I think she's being courageous.
She made a statement that she can say whatever she wants, but she made a statement that, and I said this to Jules. I was like, oh, I wish she wouldn't have said that, which is. I went out there and it's just, it's not fun.
No, I'm glad you brought this up because I was going to forget.
You look like you're about to leave. Oh, yeah. No, tell me. I did not see what her mother said.
Her mother said, and I quote, Simone's going to be okay.
Yeah. Okay.
How does she know? First of all, we are told throughout our entire lives, in the most difficult of times, you're going to be all right.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay.
Yes.
You're going to make it. In most cases, for most people, that means I'm not going to die.
Well,
because we're going to get through everything.
Yes.
And I always equate it to walking across that 300-foot rickety bridge across the 400-foot gorge. I know I'm going to make it to the other side, but it's going to scare the shit out of me taking the journey.
Yes.
We all go through challenges, things in our life, death, destruction, tragedy, all these different things. And people are like, you're going to be okay. And I know I'm going to be okay because I'm not going to die. That's the only thing is.
Right.
So what does it mean to not be okay? So for her mom, it's a very general. Simone's going to be okay. Well, but I realize Simone's going to be okay, not unless she offs herself for the next week, God forbid.
Right.
But I mean, okay. But I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means when someone's because just because you're going to be okay doesn't mean you're not going to be going through hell for the next 4 or 5 years.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I think everybody's trying to, in her circle, protect her personal information, right? So everybody's kind of dancing around what it is. Simone's going to be okay. So what she's telling people, her messages that she's sending to, I would assume, to fans and people who are not on she's just wimping out, people are generally very concerned because what is she doing? Why is she doing this? And I think her mom's coming out and saying, without saying anything, she's going to be okay. I.e., and again, I'm speculating on this, i.e., she's got treatment, she's got docs around her, but this was bad. This was Kevin Love having a panic attack during the game, right? He didn't expect to have the panic attack during the game. There was no precipitating specific circumstances. I could give you an entire list, completely speculation, but given her history, given the abuse, given what she said, given the changes to her routine and the training, given the unique pressures of both competing in the Olympics, and even Olympic athletes will tell you, Michael Phelps will say, like, this is a high pressure situation, coupled with, as you said, talking about Larry Nassar, talking about the Nassar thing all week. Those are, if you're suffering from some sort of trauma, that's enough potential triggers to put you in a place, and this is where it's different for you and I. You and I could have all those things, and we could have a really rough time on the air.
Maybe.
But not be, we don't have, you're the GOAT. You're the GOAT of classic rock radio.
Yeah, I am. Mm-hmm.
Yes? You don't have to walk as fine a line to prevent catastrophic injury. Like, you could have a terrible day, and you might even get fined by the FCC or what. Well, we don't, because we're. But you know what I'm saying? Like the difference between you and her is she could lose her life doing what she's doing.
No, I'd have to be a psychologist and a therapist in order to come up with this. But since you've been deducing and speculating all morning on Simone Biles, maybe you would think she doesn't need to be there.
Yep.
She's showing up. She says, I have more to offer. She's doing it for the U.S. Olympic team to show them inspiration and mentor them through this process. And this more likely, it should be, because she's 24, is her last Olympics.
Right.
And maybe she's been using her gymnastics and the Olympic experience and all of her endorsements, and she's going to do fine. Maybe she's been using that as her safe place for a long period of time because of her PTSD, because of the sexual abuse, and because of all the things she's gone through. And she's seeing that come to an end.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And she's
really good. And
it finally. And so when she should be having fun, she's got nothing to prove to anybody.
You need to do some interviews,
right? She's got nothing to prove to anyone.
That's right.
Maybe she's feel like, and that's because when she felt like the weight of the world was on her shoulders. Maybe she finally feels like
this is
her
it.
Last hurrah.
Yeah,
this is it.
That's really good.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers will go through the same thing next year.
Well, and I think the difference is if you don't have.
And what's crazy about the whole thing is she's the most marketable woman on the face of the earth, and she's 24.
Yeah,
she's got another 70 years to live. But I mean, that's a lot of pressure. There's a lot there.
And I think that, again, I don't know Aaron Rodgers' situation. If you take everything you just said and you're not dealing with an anxiety disorder or a mental health condition, then all of those things can happen and it can take you out of your game. But again, like an injury, if you've also got something going on, that's enough to take you completely out. Right? I mean, again, I'm just using Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. Maybe he's got mental health problems. Maybe he doesn't. If he doesn't, then he could have the best season of his life, or he could have a less than an ideal season. If he's got significant, let's just say, depression, anxiety disorder, something like that, then the pressure and the realization that this is my last year can absolutely send somebody into, it's kind of like a relapse. The term we use is called the stress diathesis phenomena. And I'm just going to say this, which is, I don't know, listen, it's just this. All it is it's the building. It's the tipping point, right? We say you got all these predisposing factors, and not that you were born with them. You got an injury, you got a mental health thing, you got a thing, and it becomes it's the straw that broke the camel's back. You just don't know when it's going to happen.
Chris Dorr's State Farm team. I know
and if it happens, something bad happens, you want Chris Dorr.
You got to make sure you're insured for it. No doubt. Chris Dorr's State Farm team, 205-985-7799. Everything I have in my entire life is insured by Chris Dorr's State Farm team. I've been with him since 1988. Through the kid bringing the hose in the house, driving through the garage door with the Christmas tree. I've had storms. I've had wrecks, lost my engagement ring. I've been through all of it, and he's been with me every step of the way. Chris Dorr's State Farm team, 985-7799. I'm going to go have some lunch with him next week, break some bread. Speaking of stinking, he's a big hunter. He don't shower for weeks.
He always smells clean.
Well, he does when you're in his office. He smells. He's a aqua velva man.
Yes.
I mean,
yes. I don't know that it's aqua velva, but
he's
he's clean.
You know what he is? You look up the word dapper.
Dapper. He probably splashes a little bit of cologne, just a little bit.
He does smell good.
Every day.
He smells like my dad sometimes. I love him. Liz Cheney has a birthday today.
Liz Cheney, she's running.
You going to have a drink with her?
Oh, yeah. I mean, talk about an interesting journey.
Yeah. You think she likes stinky guys?
She doesn't like guys.
Yeah. She's 55. Lori Loughlin.
Liz Cheney's really 55.
Yeah. Lori Loughlin.
She's out. She's got a record.
She's been out for a while.
53.
57. Dana White from the UFC turns 52. This one surprised me a little bit. Elizabeth Berkley. Remember her? She was the one from Saved by the Bell, did the Showgirls thing, and it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the R-rated. What was it, R-rated or X-rated? The Showgirls movie? It was
yes.
terrible. It was a horrible movie.
Yeah.
And it was a career move that obviously made her a joke, the butt of an joke. She's 49. And Marty Brennaman. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Oh, is he dead?
No.
Oh.
He hung it up with the Cincinnati Reds a couple of years ago.
Oh, yes.
I bring him up because as growing up in Westchester, Ohio, I had a 10-speed bicycle, and my dad gave me a transistor radio.
Look at
I used to
you.
go to bed with my transistor radio.
This
listen
explains
to
your
Top
whole
10 on
radio thing.
WSAI AM.
Yep.
And then I'd listen to Reds games. And I'd put it in my pillow. I put my radio under my pillow, and I'd listen to the Reds game. And whenever they played the Charge, dun, 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 I go, Charge. I listened to the Reds games during the big Red Machine days, 75, 76 World Series, Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, David Concepcion, Cesar Geronimo, George Foster, Little Doggy at first base. I loved all of them, Johnny Bench. And I used to listen to him, and I would ride the neighborhood and listen to Marty and Joe on the radio every single night. And when they weren't on, I wouldn't ride my bike. But Marty Brennaman turned 79. He's an asshole.
Is he the one that had the racial slur thing?
No, that was his son, Tom.
Okay.
And I mean that in a very nice way, because if I saw Marty Brennaman right now, I would be on my knees.
Yeah.
But I saw him he was down at the BJCC doing a regional NCAA basketball thing when we had regionals, and we're getting them back here, by the way, in the next couple of years.
And we got a protein.
And I saw him, and he walked in front of my car, and he had this impeccable hair, that would look like
coiffed.
A helmet. Yeah,
it was
coiffed. And he walked right in front of my car, and I was like, Marty,
my childhood hero.
Dude, I'm from Cincinnati. I love you.
I had a transistor radio.
Jeez. And I was like,
you're ruining, like, between that and Jimmy Buffett, Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewarted me. He gave me this look. I'm like,
see, Damon Johnson would never do that.
And this happened when I was in my 40s.
Right.
I'm not some punk ass.
Right.
And I was like, and he
Come
looked
on,
at me
dude,
like,
show me some love.
He gave me this, and I was like, dude, but I still love him. If I was with him, I would be in an abusive relationship. He could just beat the hell out of me, and I would take it, and I would love it. Him and Julie Andrews.
Your transistor radio description reminds me of a cross between The Wonder Years, that show, and Leave It to Beaver.
Is Julie Andrews on Cameo?
No, I looked because, are you kidding? That was my first one. Listen,
can we get on Cameo?
No, I went, when I did Cameo for you, first of all, I spent way too much time on camera. Julie's like, every night, my Julie. She's like, what do you, because you could hear the little, what are you doing? I'm like, that's Bo Derek. That's the guy from Devo. That's the guy from Duran Duran. I'm like, that's not going to work. I'm like, where's 38 Special? Okay, look at him. He looks like he's 100 years old. So I'm going through, and I told you this. When I did the Cameo thing, first I went through all of your sexual attraction ones. And, so I'm like, I went Julie Andrews.
How long did that take?
Well, no, I went Julie Andrews. I'm like, she's not there.
Damn it.
And then I started going through, and I know we talked about Bo Derek, and you have a little connection with Bo Derek. Okay. And I went Bo Derek, and the problem with Bo Derek on Cameo was she just seemed like something wasn't quite right.
Well, she's like that.
Well, yeah, but in a Cameo, when it's just a short, it was weird. It was slightly creepy. And she's beautiful. And then I started going through all the, like, Barbie Benton's up there.
Was Dawn Wells on there at one point, before she passed away?
No, she was not. No. Barbie Benton. Remember Barbie Benton?
Barbie Benton.
Yeah, and Suzanne Summers. Like, I'm going through all of them, and the problem was...
Suzanne Summers on there?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But so I'm going through all of them, and I have this thing with women that we fawned over when we were kids. Like, I'd look at them, and they didn't... Morgan Fairchild's on there, and they don't look... Look, I don't look like I did when I'm 17. I'm not saying it in that way, but it just was the wrong vibe. Yep. And then I crossed over to the whole rocker thing, and it was sort of the same thing.
Bumped you out a bit.
Well, it was the same with the lead singer from Cheap Trick.
Yeah, Robin Zander.
Yeah, I was like, Cheap Trick. Tony loves Cheap Trick. I'm looking at him, I'm like, he looks frail. He looked frail, right? So I was going... So I made my way, and I should have, and I'm sorry, I didn't. I don't know why I didn't start here, but I made my way to Johnny Van Zant, and I look, and he's, look at that.
How crazy is though? We had Damon Johnson on yesterday, and he gets the phone call from Ricky Medlock, who was with Blackfoot and joined Leonard Skinner 15 years ago, that Ricky Medlock was the first guest that I can remember having in my studio. I remember this week because he was in on a Monday, and then Dweezil Zappa, Frank Zappa's son, was in the next day. And I mean, to have those two in a week was like, dude, we were classic rock royalty, man.
Yeah.
People love classic rock 99.5, and that's why we're starting this whole thing.
Dweezil Zappa was considered classic rock?
Well, he was Frank Zappa's son.
Okay.
And Frank Zappa is iconic, beyond iconic, weird, strange, bizarre, don't eat the yellow snow bizarre, but he was iconic. And to have Dweezil's a hell of a guitar player.
Yes, I remember that, yep.
And so I had him sign it on, but I had Ricky Medlock come in, and Ricky had just come out with a solo album. And I got it outside somewhere. I'll show it to you. And it's an airbrushed, his hair is blowing back, and it looks like a glamour, like a joke.
Like Care Band kind of.
And I was like,
Fabio sort of thing?
It's beyond Fabio.
Okay.
And I was like, and I said, was this for real? And obviously it was, and he didn't like the fact that I asked that question. But he's the one that calls Damon Johnson to get him in Lynyrd Skynyrd. And then you're the one that sent me the cameo of Johnny Van Zant, the lead singer for Lynyrd Skynyrd, on my birthday back in March. It all kind of came together.
That's what I'm telling you. You
about blew up on the phone. Dude, the connection's here. Get on it.
That's what I was like. We're so close. You're so close. I'm telling you, if they tour, are they doing Rock the South?
Well, we're waiting to see if Gary Rossington's going to be back.
No. I'm saying, but is Lynyrd Skynyrd's Rock the South?
Yeah, the 13th, the 14th.
Yeah, you could bring him on. Assuming we're not shut down. Yeah, okay. Got your mask? Did you throw your mask out?
We're never going to be shut down. We haven't missed a beat here.
No, I'm just saying you got your mask. I got some new ones. Oh. Got a good text? All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about What Else Day Spa, and you go.
I'm going to go pee.
Pee and push your buttons.
Get the KCast radio app.
Yes.
We've got the ACDC thing going on later on tonight, brought to you by Southern Precision Staffing, 205-682-2828 for all your staffing needs. IT, construction, they do it all. They're going to join us tonight at 8 o'clock. And then we have an IBM show going on where we're mashing up high-tech and classic rock. We do all kinds of really unique programming, and certainly the most unique is the Kurre and Klapow show we do every Monday through Friday morning between 6 and 9. Download the KCast radio app. It's a guitar. It's the second one down. Download it. Tell your friends about it. I love you for it. I appreciate it, and it helps us out.
What Else Day Spa, make sure you get up to What Else Day Spa, 905-7676. Located up at the summit. They are amazing. 5,000 square feet of luxury, manicures, pedicures, facials, massages. It is a resort right here in our community. Go to their webpage today, birmingham.whateldespas.com. That's birmingham.whateldespas.com.
Good job, boy.
Okay, go urinate.